Hey everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to go over my polling plans, specifically for 1.7, but also over here, time to go over some of the ones that kind of review what my plans were for 1.6. Because there's a little bit here to talk about. So, in fact, we're going to go ahead and start with the 1.6 postmortem. So we only have a few days as of this recording before 1.7 comes out, right? And honestly, 1.6 was a banging release. So all the characters that came out and we engaged with were peak, as far as I'm concerned. They were great. Seeing the new Ambi story and getting that fleshed out, and a lot of theories and rumors confirmed or even ones that were wrong shed new light on, were all pretty fantastic. And Trigger was an amazing new character, honestly. But let's just run through it, right? So first things first, when it came to Ambi, did playing the Ambi story, agent story, and everything convinced me to pull for Ambi? Answer is no. I stuck with my guns there. I did not pull for Ambi. She's great, but you all know I'm anomaly pilled. So it was Ambi's presentation, great as it was not enough to make me change my mind about being anomaly pilled and sticking to my guns there. So to stick with my quote-unquote playstyle and save the polychromes, which they need to be saved, I stuck to my guns there. Granted, I ended up using all my polychromes on exactly what I wanted to do with Bernice. I attempted 2 copies, and I got I got M2. So, got M2, which was great. It was a pretty solid power level increase for my Bernice. So, and I'll probably do some more in the future, but I already had a signature Wenjin before, so I didn't need to do anything with that. But yeah, I spent the polychrome to get to M2, and it was pretty close. I almost didn't have enough for sure, but we did it. Now here's where things got interesting, because obviously that was the first half of 1.6 where I clearly, quote unquote, clearly knew what I wanted to do, but I said for sure that with her being a stunner, I was definitely not going to get Trigger. And I have been so waiting to get Zhu Yin on a rerun because I didn't pick her up last time. And I have been suffering, not suffering. I've been able to pass all the in-game content, but I've really missed having Ether DPS. Obviously, I had 2 Ether supports because I picked up Astra and Nicole from A-rank pools. But I thought for sure going into 1.6 I was gonna pick up Zhu Yin at some point. Lo and behold, just as in the middle of this 1.6 cycle, we got our character reveal for Vivian, and it turned out she was going to be our first Ether anomaly. And as soon as that was confirmed, and considering all the pulls I wanted to do, I went nope. No, we were not going to do it. And I did it. I said, no, I didn't do it. I did not pull for Zhu Yin. And as, there's 3 days left, so I guess I can always change my mind, but I don't think it's happening. I tried to convince myself in all kinds of ways that I should still pull for Zhu Yin, but I just need the pulls for what's coming. And we'll talk about it here in a little bit, right? I could not justify pulling for Zhu Yin. So I did not, much to my broken heart, because I really wanted her on the roster because I think she's a super great character. I still think there's a whole bunch more that's going to happen with her, should happen with her, because she's one of the more not just more fleshed out, but I think more engaging storylines for agent storylines we have, right? In essence, I have nothing against the ones we already have. It's just hers is popping, and she's a great character. On the same note, again, I said, no, stunner. Don't need a stunner for what I do, right? Oh, off-field stun? I still don't need that. But when I started playing as Trigger, and then considering the synergies, I have been racking my brain for days, for like over a week now. Again, 2 days left before 1.6 ends, and my ability to pull for Trigger disappears. I was this close to pulling for Trigger, because it looked like she'd be a great addition to my young Yanagi teams. And not that my Yanagi teams are hurting for anything, but it would have been nice to have a character that it was more specific to her, so that she could help with all these electric weak enemies that I fight, and could use a little more umph too, right? Because you've seen some of my streams, I've been struggling with some of the electric weakness characters, and part of that is because I've been trying to force the Haramasa, Chingy, Rina team to handle it, and it's just been difficult. A lot of the in content, I just don't have those characters. I mean, I have them built up, but I guess I just don't have quite the right configuration to get them over the finish line. So between that and just how well Trigger plays, I was like, maybe I should do it. Maybe I should do it. And honestly, if you had asked me like this is Sunday, early this Sunday, if I was going to do it, I probably would have said yes. But I think on the drive home from a vacation and kind of meditating it some more, and then considering what I'm going to do for the next in 1.7, I was sticking to it. I'm not going to pull for Trigger, and it hurts. Honestly, it hurts. I love the VA too, the voice actor for this. So there was just so much riding on it. Great voice, great character. I love the VA. Pairs super well with Yanagi, but I just cannot do it. And really, the reason for that is just because it was confirmed in the 1.7 program that Vivian was going to be, again, Ether Anomaly, and that Jane was going to be re-released. And I am a Jane Doe stan. And I knew once those two were going to be on the same banner, and we were talking about this in the 1.6 poll video, right? That I was like, it's almost sure going to be Jane Doe, and we were right about that part. And I want her M2 and her signature weapon. I didn't pick up her signature weapon last time she was, because I hadn't convinced myself that I should be picking up signature weapons at that time, right? So I want to get her M2, and I want to get her signature weapon, so that I need 3 successful pulls out of that series of pulls, right? And that's already asking a lot. 3 successful pulls. I barely did it when I was only going for 2 with M2 Bernice, right? And here I am saying, I'm going to go for 3. No. I'm not going for just 3, because after seeing Vivian's kit and spending days reviewing people's creator server reviews of Vivian and her kit and playstyle, initially I was just going to go for 1 pull and 1 signature weapon pull, but I'm damn near convinced I'm going to go for M2 on her as well, because because that M2 is just so good. And again, I'm an anomaly player. Vivian is just going to surge all my anomaly playstyles, and once I have Vivian, I'll have 3 complete teams that I can put together of anomaly comps. So why not empower it? So am I pulling for them? Abs-freaking-lutely. These are happening. I'm doing these. To what degree? Well, now let's really get into that. Like I said with Jane, my goal is getting goal M2 and Sig, right? That's what I want to go for. Now, how does that translate to Vivian? Is that, again, that's 3 successful pulls that I need. If I want Vivian to get M2 and her Sig, that means I need 7 successful pulls. That sounds crazy. That is crazy. I'm definitely going to be dolphining. Whaling. I'm gonna say dolphin because I want to still deny that I'm whaling here. There's no way that with the number with the, I think 20K. How many that I've been pulling together these last few days? I have an accumulation of about going to be 21,000, maybe 22,000 polychrome by the time we get to 1.7, right? Plus a 10 pull. So, I mean, plenty of pulls. Here's what I think I'm going to have to do. Because M2 and signature, to me, has to happen. She's Jane. She's one of my primaries. I need that to happen. In order to facilitate the best compromise I can see by these two goals is that I'm going to pull for Vivian at her M0 and her signature. At that point, I'm going to switch over to trying to go for Jane Doe's M2 and signature. Again, this is 3 successes that I need. And then I have an idea of how much I want to invest into this run. And depending on how well that goes, whatever is left over and whatever I accumulate during the rest of the 1.7 phase, this first phase, is going to go to trying to get M2. And then we'll see how close I get. So at this point, between dolphining and what the 22K that I have, I'm hoping I at least get M0 and Sig for Vivian and M2 and Sig for Jane. And then whatever is left over after that, hopefully with the season's pulls, for the first phase I can get M2, which doesn't sound very likely at all, which means I might have to do some more pulling. This is a ridiculous goal that I've set for myself, especially not knowing what the future holds. But I can't wait too long. Or, maybe we'll find out. Again, traditionally, we've seen that like the Fridays after a release, we start seeing some teasers for who's coming out in the next patch. We did not get it this time like we did with Vivian and Hugo, mostly because I think they were going to be spoiling the story, so they had to release it early. But at this point, I would expect by Friday, we're going to know who is going to be in 2.0. So the Friday after the 1.7 release, we're going to know who's coming out 2.0. Just based on how they've revealed those characters in the past. The smart thing to do might be to get my M1 or my M0 and Sig Vivian. Maybe wait. No. See. Okay. The super smart thing and conservative thing, the smart and conservative thing to do, we get my M0 and Sig Vivian, and then wait until Friday before I pull Jane. Just so I can be 100% sure what's coming in 2.0 isn't worth my polychrome. More than M2 Jane, which sounds insane saying that out loud. That there be something more worthwhile than my M2 Jane. Because again, Jane is my main. She's my girl. So I might have to be super patient. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna get her Sig. That's what I'm gonna do. I think that's the compromise. I think this is the compromise I've come up with now. I'm definitely gonna get M0 and signature for Vivian, and I'm gonna get Jane Doe's signature because I don't have Jane Doe's signature yet, and I want that, and it's gonna help me get my AP where it needs to be, my anomaly proficiency where it needs to be, so I can get 100% of the time crit on assault. Because I'm not quite there yet. I'm like low 90s. So that will help me complete that goal. By Friday, if it doesn't seem like I'm going to be convinced by any of the 2.0 pulls, then I'm going to save. And I say that what's that noise? Oh, sorry. I say that, and I'm thinking they're probably going to release Miyabi for 2.0, aren't they? That would be a swell time to do the re-release. So the last 3 characters we haven't re-released yet are Miyabi, Caesar, and Yanagi. And out of those 3 characters, all 3 of them, I want to pull for reruns and get them signature weapons if I don't already have them, which for Yanagi and Caesar, I absolutely not, and get M2s. So you see, I am dolphining. This is bad. I need to find a place to quit. Yeah. See, I'm in the danger zone. My poor poly count. So I might have to make some decisions. I mean, and the thing is about here's the thing. I can't plan all that well for the reruns because we can guess them, and at this point we have like 2 out of those 3 that I just mentioned are certainly going to be in the 2.0 re-release, right? So, and all 3 of them I want to pull for. So I know I'm going to be pulling for characters the next go around. Hey, maybe I should refrain from going M2. Maybe I should refrain from that. Who knows? Maybe the smart thing is that I shouldn't be going for M2s yet. Maybe I should just go M1 and get M2 next time or something like that. It's a lot to think about, but I think maybe I should leave that decision for the Friday after the release and see what we get from the teasers. At this point, there is no reason why I shouldn't, at the very least, go for M0 Vivian and her signature and Jane Doe's signature. By Friday, if it looks like there is a character I absolutely want to pull for in 2.0, then I'm going to have to cross that bridge and see what I'm going to do. Because these last 2 patches I have been really pulling hard. Well, it was because Bernice, I wanted M2 Bernice and I got M2 Bernice. But it's not super sustainable. Those 2 pulls took a lot to make happen. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I said a lot about Vivian and Jane Doe. So what does that leave for Hugo and Lighter? Well, Hugo, easy. It's going to be no for me, dog. And nothing against Hugo. Hugo's great. Hugo's a great character. But again, and I'm an only build. I don't need a nice attack. I already have Ellen and I have Miyabi. So even talking from a meta sense, I don't need to pull for Hugo, as cool as he looks. Now, Lighter is a different story. Because Lighter is going to be a waifu pull. I want Lighter because I want to complete the Sons of Caledon set. At least that's what I want to do. But we already said with Vivian and Jane Doe, I do not have enough pulls for everything I want to do here. I cannot sustain this. My pulling program is unsustainable. So at some point, I'm just going to say, Eddie, you get per patch, you get 2 pulls. Good luck. Good luck. Per patch, you get 2 pulls. If you can pull it off, great. Good luck. Because otherwise, you're not going to have enough poly, my friend. You're not going to have enough. So, and at the bare minimum now, I'm saying I need 3 successful pulls. So I better be getting some like double triple S's on my pulls or something. Because otherwise, I'm having a fever dream here. But then again, I am ready to pour some of my wallet out. So, but maybe the lesson here is that in 2.0, I'm gonna have to stick to single pulls, and then just take it from there. Who knows? But then I think about I think about Caesar and Yanagi and Miyabi, and my word. Well, I mean, I guess the other thing is I just need to forget Caesar. I get her signature and that's it, and stop trying to go for M2. Don't go for M2. Yeah, her M2 is super good, but maybe I should just, if I'm going to be Ming characters, I should make sure I'm only giving M's to the anomalies. That should be my primary focus in this playstyle. Again, especially now that as soon as I get Vivian, I'm going to be able to create 3 different Deadly Assault teams with very little hassle. So, and they all being able to play off each other, which is exactly what I want, which is going to be fantastic. So, yeah, these pull plans are ridiculous. I am talking myself in circles, but this is what we're going for here, right? The ultimate goal, a lot of this 1.7 goal revolves around how well I do with Vivian and Jane. If I can get exactly what I want and still have a lot of poly left over, I might even have to give up on getting Lighter. I didn't think I was going to have to, but I might not be able to get the whole Sons of Caledon set until a future rerun. And after this season 1 stuff, I'm going to have to be more conservative with my M2 goals. Because they're just not sustainable. And I'm going to eat myself out of rent or something if I don't pull responsibility. Pull responsibly, everybody. That should be the lesson here. Don't be like me. Or don't be this ideal version of me. So the goal is M1 Sig, and then, in fact, let's just be clear about it. Ideal will be M2 and Sig. And then the floor is going to be M0 and Sig. And honestly, it's going to be the same thing for Jane at this point. Well, it fits so well in the other one. No. Yeah, this is what we get for doing this live. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the ideal here is M2 Sig, but the floor is that I'm at least going to get the signature and then stick to 0. And even then, I have to think about, I mean, Ellen is great. And, you know, I say with caveat already, Ellen is great. Hard stop. I think why she's not as strong as she could be is because there's so far, a lot of our in-game content hasn't had a lot of physical weaknesses, right? So, which is fine. Once we start having physical weaknesses, we're going to see her usefulness shoot way up. So, maybe my compromise will be M1 and Sig. But okay, no. Okay, we already talked about this. On Wednesday, I'm going to pull for M0 and Sig for Vivian and Sig for Jane. Come Friday, if it turns out that I only have reruns to look forward to in 2.0, I might just go all the way with M2 on Jane. And then after that, I might have to just not do that anymore. Or maybe, okay, I'm going to talk in circles. Who knows? This is the minimum I want to do. I'll worry about rerun characters later once I know that they're coming for sure. I mean, I almost know they're coming for sure, but I can't fool myself thinking I can plan that far ahead. So I got this right now. So, okay, so that's pretty much my pull plans for 1.7 and a postmortem of what I did for 1.6. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What do you think about my plans? How foolish or great they are? I guess I'm a dolphin. I mean, this is going to be pretty much out me as a dolphin at this point, since I am like desperate to have all these different pulls for 1.7. So here's me digging into it. Let me know what your pull plans are, who you're going for. What do you all feel about Jane and Vivian? These, as far as I'm seeing right now, Vivian is going to be one of my favorite characters, right up there with Jane and Bernice. That's going to be my trio right there. And you already see how far I was willing to go for them. So maybe I'll do the same thing for the others. We'll see. For these two, we'll see. Yeah, tell me your pull plans. Tell me what you think about my plans. How are you feeling about 1.6? How are you ready for 1.7? Leave it in the comments below. Follow me on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube, Baron5X on all of them. Blue Sky if you want to keep up to date with when I'm doing stuff. I'll post links to videos and when I'm going to stream on there. Plus, obviously, my schedule is posted on Twitch, so you can always see there. But thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.